Hey you guys, I'm Danielle M and welcome to my channel today. So I got my tea and I thought for today's video I was just going to kind of give you guys a little life update, and I'm hoping that something I share today will maybe help some of you. I think it's good when God brings us through hard things that we stop, especially as we're overcoming it. I can't say that what I'm going to share with you guys, like, I'm over it. I'm definitely not over it. But I do want to share with you kind of how it's been for me, and hopefully it'll give you some insight, because it has been like so eye-opening for me, and I feel like there's probably other people who are in the position that I once was in. So anyways, I will talk to you guys all about that and get into all kind of the life things that have been happening with me and my family. So let's get into it.
Even in the darkest night, you shine so bright.
Okay, so first I want to share with you guys the really good news, which is we are going to be moving and not back to Florida, sadly. That would be like the best news. But we are moving to Madison, Wisconsin. Right now we're kind of in a small town outside of Madison. And we're just renting this house that we're in right now. And it has been a whirlwind. So much has been happening since we moved here to Wisconsin. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know a little bit of what I'm talking about. But it mostly has to do with my neighbors on the side of my house. They just... I don't want to get into too much of it, and I don't want to speak bad of them. Because I think everybody can be redeemed, and everybody needs redemption, and everybody needs forgiveness. And so I'm not holding like any grudges against them, but I really feel bad. I feel bad because it has a lot to do with drugs and alcohol and those things just impacting their life decisions. And because we're next door to them, a lot of those things have kind of crept over to our house, and we've had to call the police on them now 3 times, you guys, and not 3 times for like these measly little things. Like every time we've had to call the police, it's been for these pretty big situations that have happened where it would be foolish for us as parents and as individuals who live next door to them to not do something. You know what I mean? They've been pretty serious things that we've had to call the police on them for, and this last one just happened recently. And after it happened, it really just confirmed in our own hearts and our own minds that it was definitely time for us to buy a house here and to move as soon as possible. That we, it was just confirming to us that God wanted us to go. And so we started the home search, which, oh my word, if you are trying to buy a house right now, I feel for you. Like, my prayers are with you. It is so hard to try and find a house right now. I could probably do a whole video just on that. I'm not going to. But it's hard because there's so many people out there trying to buy houses. You have to basically go over what any house price is listed as. And even when you go over, whatever they're asking for their house, there's probably 10 other people who are going over too. And so you're lucky if they still even pick your offer. And so it has been crazy. We lost out on 2 houses. There was another one we were considering putting an offer in on, but my husband and I couldn't really align, so we decided it was a sign wasn't meant to be for us. This 3rd house that we put an offer in on, they had 7 other offers, and they did choose our offer, thankfully. We're just so thankful to God that He opened up the doors for us to go in the time that we really feel like we need to go. And so yeah, we're going to be moving May 23rd. I do have a little bit of footage of the house when we kind of toured it quickly and some photos, so I don't think my footage is that great because I was doing it just more for us to have it, but I will show you guys a little bit of that footage and maybe add in some pictures right now. Okay, so just a little entryway. That's the basement.
A really nice basement.
The kitchen. I don't think there was a pantry, was there?
Actually, this could be.
Kitchen's cute. The cabinetry is really nice. Really nice cabinets.
That's cabinet right here.
That's basically your pantry.
Pantry, yeah, that's right.
I like at least how they pull out.
Yep. It's a tiny pantry though. Tinier than ours.
It's the same size as the one that we have right now. Living room space. Fireplace.
I don't think our couch could fit in here.
It could fit, buddy. Dining
Where would we
room.
put this in?
Or you can always put it downstairs too.
Oh. Yeah, where would we?
So this is one bedroom. This is the smallest of the bedrooms. But it's got a nice closet.
My bed. I wouldn't mind sleeping in here.
Yeah, you don't need a lot of space. It's got a really nice bathroom. Very big and spacious. Nice shower.
Oh, you should show them
The flooring everywhere is really nice. Like we wouldn't have to do any flooring. This is another bedroom. This room's got cute windows. This is the laundry room.
And then upstairs. Oh, you gonna do upstairs or downstairs first?
I'll do upstairs.
Alright. Upstairs has a very weird bathroom. It's like the bathroom.
This is the master bathroom. Also, there's a little deck right outside here. Yeah. Master.
Master bedroom leading into the
Nice walk-in closet.
master bedroom
Nice
leading into
windows.
master bathroom.
Master
Which this is like the weirdest ever. Two sinks here. Then one. You look over here.
the bathtub. That's because that's a vanity. It's for like where a girl can do her makeup. It's a vanity area. Then up here, that's just like another closet. There's lots of closets in this house actually.
Yeah.
This is another little bedroom.
I
Closet.
like this bedroom.
I actually know this listing agent. I tried messaging her, but I don't know reached out to her again. You said it popped up today.
This was a closet.
It's a huge closet.
Oh wow, they have a fridge. Oh,
Yeah, you guys passed it, but I also think
wow, that's actually really nice. That is a big closet.
a big old garage.
3-car garage. We don't need to show them that. This is the basement. They have a piano down here.
I like this basement.
And then you actually have another, another full bathroom and another bedroom right here. So it's really a 5-bedroom and then another storage space right there.
It's a tiny bedroom though.
Really nice windows.
I would take it if I had like my whole entire room is down here in this open space. Actually, I kind of want to have my room downstairs.
You can't have the whole entire basement as your bedroom. I'm sorry to tell you.
Just the area over there.
Really nice community.
I was just gonna see the area over there.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm like cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot. So I'll probably take this off and then put it back on again in a few minutes. But I did want to get on here and talk to you guys about what I really wanted to share with you, what was really on my heart, and hopefully it will be a help. And let me know if you guys can relate to anything I'm about to talk about, in either if it's something you've struggled with personally or you haven't struggled with it personally, and kind of how you view it. I don't know. This will probably all make sense in a minute. So starting in around October, we got here in August, and then probably around October, I started to really struggle emotionally, and it came on me like a lightning strike. And it was so bizarre because my family and I could be going out and we could be having like the best family day, and out of nowhere I would just be super emotional and just cry like all day and not even be able to turn it off, and not also even understand why I was crying, and just feeling like a low that I've never felt before. Just feeling so sad. That's like the best way I can describe it, but it's like a very, very deep sadness that you just do not know how to even escape or get away from. And as much as I would like try and do the things that I used to do when I had my selective mutism and I was dealing with social anxiety, there were certain things that I did to help me kind of overcome those things. And so I was, number one, I was confused, like, what is going on? Why am I feeling this way? But also, like, there was a lot that has happened in my life. Like, I feel like my life was just uprooted, kind of, and moved to somewhere I didn't want to live, left people who I loved so much, left communities that I loved so much, left a state that I loved so much, you know, lost all those things. Not lost, but left them. And then moved to a new state during COVID when people like do not want to really connect, like they're scared to, and so it made connecting here hard. It still is hard, to be honest with you. Like, I don't have like a great community right now. And so just all of those things combined, I felt like, okay, well, maybe this is just my way of like dealing with all these changes. And in some ways I think that's what was going on. Like, it contributed. And so I was just really struggling with it, but also I was struggling with like how I was reacting to that, because even though it was a lot, I felt like I was still reacting to all those changes in a way that was uncharacteristic for me to handle it. You know what I mean? You probably don't. But it just felt so bizarre, and I just didn't know like what was happening. And it would happen when I first started, it was happening like every day, all the time, and like it was like a feeling of like, okay, this sadness is coming. Like, I almost knew it was coming and was gonna get worse. It's not like I was sitting thinking about sad things, but once that feeling of sadness comes, even if you're doing happy things, once that feeling of sadness comes, then you do start thinking about, because you're in this sad place, so then you do start thinking about like, oh, I miss my community, I miss my friends, like, I don't like this house and my neighbors, you know? Like, you do start like lamenting all the things, but that's not what starts the sadness. So anyways, I was just struggling with that, really thinking it was just like my life situations that was probably causing those feelings, and just not understanding why I couldn't control my emotions, because I just could not. And it didn't matter what I tried to focus on, what I tried to do. It was just, I felt like I was just out of control, and I felt like I wasn't me at all. So I started, the one thing that I do want to say that helped me, just because it might help some of you if you are feeling like you're going through depression and you're struggling with depression. This is not a cure by any means, but it is something that helped me calm down and kind of get out my grief in a way. And that was, I would take a shower whenever I felt like that deep sadness come on. I would get in the shower and turn on some worship music, and I would kind of just let the water run on me, and I would just pray and worship and just have some alone time. And I'm telling you guys, I would take like an hour-long shower until I felt like I could move on and be with my family again. But for some reason, just being in the shower really helped me just get all my thoughts out. And like, I feel like journaling, and like there's a lot of other things you could do. And this isn't something that I did when I was struggling with my other things, but it is something I did this time that really helped me. And it's just funny how with mental illness, like there's never this one path of cure. There's never this one thing that will help fix everything. You just have to figure out kind of like, what in this time of my life, in this situation that I'm going through, like what is the thing that's going to help me the most right now. And that was what really helped me the most. So after like having these, like I would feel normal sometimes, and then it would just hit me like a train, and I would be so low and so down, and I was struggling really hard. I was talking to my husband about it, being really open with him. We've tried CBD and just some things, because this is stuff that he has dealt with before, so it wasn't that unusual for him, like as far as stress and just like how to manage that kind of stuff. So he gave me some ideas of things that had worked for him, and it really wasn't, again, it maybe took the edge off it a little bit, but it wasn't really solving it. And so I told him, like, hey, even though I know, like, there's a lot of reasons I could be feeling this way, I still feel like it's not, I don't know how to explain, because I don't really know how to put it into words the best way, but for me, I just felt like there was a source behind it. Even though there was, you know, there doesn't have to be a reason for depression to hit you, it can just hit you, and this has really opened my eyes to that fact, but I still felt like for me, like there was something else going on, and I wanted to get to what was the source and not just treat the depression. I felt like the depression was a symptom of something else. And I started to notice that when I was having these really lows, it always had to do around with my monthly cycle. And it would either come like before it, or a lot of times it would come right after it. But it always had to do basically with like around my cycle is when I would have these very lows. So I told my husband, like, hey, I think that there was just something going on with my hormones. Like, I think that my hormones are just way off. And I did a hormone women's health test, and you can go to everlywell.com and you can go on there and you can order your own women's health test. They have plenty of other ones you can choose from as well. This video is not sponsored or anything like that, but it was very eye-opening for me, and it was something that I wanted to just figure out, like, what is going on. If something's off, how can I fix it? So I ordered that, I did the test, and I also got a primary care doctor physician here where I live in Wisconsin, because I wanted to have somebody who I could go to and kind of talk with about all the things. So I think that mostly brings us up to date. I'm not going to try and make this video super long. Make sure you guys ask me any questions if you want me to talk more specifically about anything about depression, how I was feeling, or anything. Let me know in the comments below. I am definitely willing to answer any questions. I really truly never felt like it was something I would deal with, and I'll talk about that in a second. But depression specifically is just something that I never thought in a million years is something I would struggle with. And that's just more, to me, shows like how depression can just hit anybody. It doesn't matter who you are or how good of a life you think you have, or even how happy you are. It can really just hit you anytime, anywhere. So I found a physician who I love. She is so sweet. She's so good, you guys. I'm really happy with her. I like her a lot. And so what she basically thinks I have is called PMDD, which is basically like having PMS, but way stronger, and it basically can make women go into like these depressive states around their cycles. And that's really what we think was going on with me. And then we also got the results back. I just literally went in there and saw my doctor today to go over the test that I had done that I told you guys about, and to go over the results of that. And basically just told us a lot of things that we already knew, that we already kind of assumed and figured out. And the point of this all is that I just wanted to tell you guys, like, I could have gone into my doctor's appointment and told them, like, hey, I am struggling with depression, and they very easily, and I'm not even saying this is wrong, but they would have prescribed me medication for the depression. But that wouldn't have been solving what was underneath the depression. And so for me, it's a lot of my hormones are off, and I have to do some things, which includes changing my birth control and just some other things to try and get my hormones back in line. And I can tell you guys already, since I've done a few things from the first time I saw her, because this was a follow-up appointment, from the first time I had her, some advice she gave me to try and fix my hormones and try and like center myself a little bit better. I did have some lows. Even then, I'm not going to be like there was none, but they were not nearly as bad. And I feel like as I continue to make improvements and to fix these things, that's going to continue to get better. But I'm also, and I told her, if I have another low that's really bad, like one of the ones I had recently, I am definitely not against, and I'm wanting to even get some kind of therapy or counseling and talk to somebody. And a lot of women who have PMDD do end up taking some kind of medication, because that is something that is needed in many cases, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just want to implore you, if you are struggling with depression, to know that that is not always, it's not always just because, like, I'm just dealing with depression now just because, like, there is a lot of things going on in my life. It can be because something with your diet or something with your lifestyle, your hormones, especially as a woman, they control so much. It can just be out of whack. And so I just want to encourage you to make sure you're seeking what is going on and try and get to the source of it, and not necessarily just treat the depression. That was the main thing I wanted to talk to you guys about today. But there is one other thing, and I kind of just want to say I'm sorry to anybody who's ever dealt with depression. Because of me talking on social media so much about selective mutism and about social anxiety and all these things, a lot of people would come to me and they would talk to me about depression or other things, and you guys, please, like, forgive me, and I'm so sorry, but I always kind of thought like why can't they, like, depression, I almost, in my heart, and I would have never said this out loud, but just in, like, my deepest thoughts of my heart, I kind of thought it was a joke in some ways, as far as, like, and I know that's terrible, because I know how much SM is not a joke and people treat it like it is, and I know how much social anxiety is not a joke, or anxiety in general is not a joke, and people treat it like it is, or, you know, whatever it is. But I felt like, why can't people who struggle with that, why can't they just find the joy? Like, why can't they just concentrate on the good things and just be happy? And that was just like my inner heart of being judgmental and just feeling like that's, like, being depressed was almost so silly, and like, and so I just want to be, like, so transparent and say, as hard as it was struggling with that, because in a lot of ways that, and I only went through it for like a few months, right? Because I'm still, like, going through it, but it's not nearly as bad as what it was. But I am so glad that God said, hey, I'm gonna let you struggle with this thing for a while, or maybe even, you know, maybe it's something I'm gonna always struggle with now, from now on. But I'm so thankful that, number one, he said, hey, you're strong enough, even though you don't feel strong enough, but I'm gonna give this burden to you, because it opened up my eyes and my heart in a way that he totally needed to help me to see. And that was to have, like, compassion and understanding for people who do struggle with depression, and just understanding, like, it doesn't matter how good your life can be, or how great of a day you can have, or anything, like, it can just hit you at any time, and how strong it manipulates you mentally. Like, I never had suicidal thoughts or anything like that, but I can totally understand now why people go where they go and how they get so deep. Because when I would go through those really far lows, I would just want to give up on, like, I did not want to shoot a video. I didn't even want to think about videos. I would think, like, the worst things that I would never think or feel, like, as far as, like, even just what people thought about me. Like, oh, people do not care about what you're doing. They don't care that you're gone. People don't care, just you guys. And that's not even me, is what I want to say. Like, but I just went to the worst, like, it's like your darkest thoughts that, like, you don't even, like, normally let come out, and they would just come out and be in your face and just say the worst things to yourself. And it's just a very dark, low place to be. And so I wanted to share that and just be really transparent, because I feel like maybe especially as Christians, but that's really sad, but I know like a lot of times we can think like that depression is a joke almost, and just kind of judge people even who are struggling with it. And if you find yourself in those places, or you know somebody who struggles with depression and you kind of just wish they would snap out of it, let me tell you, they wish they could snap out of it. Like, they do not like it. They do not want to have to struggle with it. They don't want to have to deal with it. They know, like, when I would tell my husband, like, when I would feel it coming on, I'd be like, babe, listen, it's coming. I would tell him, like, please don't trust anything I say, because I wouldn't treat him well. But it wasn't how I truly would be. And he was so gracious and kind that he would just give me space, or he would hug me when I needed to be hugged, or just whatever. So I would just say, be so gracious with people who are going through that. Ask them what they need, because some days I would maybe need him to give me a hug, and other days I would need like a couple hours to myself, like in the shower or whatever. And so just ask them, like, hey, are you struggling right now? How can I help you? What do you need? And just be caring. I'm not gonna make this video super long, but I did kind of wanted to share all of that and tell you guys, like, even if I have a day where I'm just off of social media for the day, it's probably because I'm having a rough day where I don't answer. Sometimes I'll get like tons of Marcos, tons of messages, tons of texts, and like I don't even have like the mindset or the willpower to answer them at that moment. But I do try and get back to them, but sometimes it might be a while before I get back to you, but I absolutely try my best. So just to my friends and family, thank you for your patience. A lot of my girlfriends I was able to open up with and talk to about this already, and that has been so great to have them like send me text messages like, hey, how are you doing today? Can I pray for you? Are you having a rough day? And just that is so great to have a community of people that you can just go to and tell them, or people who understand, who also struggle with the same thing and know how you're feeling. So there you guys have it. That's a life update. I didn't think I would get emotional. I think I got a little emotional, but I held it in as best as I could. But yeah, so there we are. The good thing is we are going to be moving, and I feel like that's going to help a lot, just my mental state of not being where we are currently, because there's just a lot of stress currently where we are and a lot of pressure. So I feel like moving is going to be really good, and you guys know I'm going to have all kinds of house content coming at you. Let me know as far as that goes, like, what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see home DIYs? Do you want to see home decor, home tours, all the home things? I got so much. I have so many plans that my brain is like bursting with home stuff. But that is all. I'm going to leave you guys to it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.